The 2, 3, or 4 can open the door, but the 7 and 8 can close the gate on Card Sharks. And here's the host of Card Sharks, Jim Perry.
Thank you. Ooh, turn around in that one. I like that. That's very smart. Yeah. Thank you very much, and welcome to Card Sharks. And a very inventive opening poem from Ellen Azar of Charleston, West Virginia. Thank you, Ellen. And now let's get to the cards. Go ahead. Jonathan Lowe's, if you will, start loading in the cards. You can see we have a game in progress with these Card Sharks. Deborah Newman, our champion. Hi, Deborah. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Still enjoying your vacation in California?
I'm loving it. Right.
From Knoxville, Tennessee, originally.
That's
Right. Yes?
Right.
You think you'd ever leave Tennessee, Deb?
Well, we've just been there 2 years. We're originally from Texas, from San Antonio.
Ah.
But we love Tennessee. It's a lot like Texas. People are real friendly. We love it.
Good. Well, we're delighted to have you back here with us. And you, of course, have won $3,900 in cash, our champion.
Love it.
Got your back to the wall right now against a tough challenger, Kathy Chicklow. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
And we just met you on the One Show, so won't you again remind us about yourself?
Okay, my name's Kathy Chicklow, and I live in Lake Forest, California. I'm married to an attorney, and in our spare time, we like to ski and play tennis.
Good. Well, we're delighted to have you back, and yes, you are doing very well. We play the best 2 out of 3, and as we left off with our last show, it is 1-0 favor Kathy. And looking at the board over here, Kathy needs just 1 card for the second win and the championship. So, Deb, better get going.
That's right.
As we pick up where we left off at sudden death. Right away, the pressure is on. And Kathy, the question goes to you, and this, of course, decides that all-important control. Kathy, we asked 100 4th graders in New Jersey, if your father said he wanted to have a talk with you about the birds and the bees, what would he want to talk about? How many 4th graders knew he would want to talk about the facts of life?
I think that most 4th graders at that point in their life, they would know that he wanted to discuss the facts of life. I'm sure they talk about it in school just a little bit. So I'm going to have to say that would be a pretty high number, probably 70.
70 out of 100 4th graders said, yeah, the birds and the bees, that's the facts of life.
I think a lot of 4th graders are pretty smart about sex. I know when I was in 4th grade, boy, I thought I knew everything, but no way would my father ever sit me down.
Did you know everything?
I think I did.
Oh, okay. Just double checking, Deb.
I'd say that'd be a little bit higher.
Even more than that, higher. Well, if it is higher, you'll get control. If not, it'll be Kathy. And the actual number of 4th graders who knew the birds and the bees referred to the facts of life is 31. Not higher, it is lower. And Kathy gets control. Incidentally, one of the kids said that a talk about the birds and the bees was a discussion about beekeeping and nests. That's what it was, yes. Kathy, you've got control. It is sudden death. You've got a jack. You need 1 card. Deborah has a queen. She needs 4 cards. Do you want to play it or pass it?
I'm going to have to pass it to Deborah.
All right, Deb, the pressure is on. If you can turn over all 4 cards, you win the game and tie up the match. But if you make 1 mistake, we have a new champion. With a queen, call this.
I got this far being confident, and I'm confident I make it. Lower.
Lower than a queen.
All
Yes,
right.
with a 5.
Higher.
Higher than a 5. A 10.
Lower.
Lower than a 10. A 6.
Higher.
To tie things up higher. Yes, with 4 cards. Deborah ties it up. Oh, a great comeback for the champion. And Kathy, if you had it to do over, would you play it yourself?
I would have played my jack.
That was a pretty good card. And, of course, you had the option to change it if you didn't like it. Well, it worked out very well for Deborah. We now have a tie. Each player with 1 game, $100. Tiebreaker, 3 cards up there, 3 questions here. Deborah, we asked 100 single women. Is there one former lover in your past you sincerely hope is absolutely miserable without you? How many single women said there is?
I'm married, and I still hope one certain person is miserable. That's got to be a high number. I would say 75.
75 out of 100 single women said, yeah, there's one guy. I hope he's miserable.
I think after falling in love with someone else and being married and all of that, you'd kind of put the other person out of your mind, or at least wish them happiness. So I'm going to have to go just a little bit lower than that.
So you say lower.
Yes, I do.
Well, we really have 2 distinct, different opinions here. Let's find out. The actual number of single women who hope there is a former lover who's miserable without them is 67, a little lower. Kathy.
Okay.
And Kathy, you start off with a queen.
Oh, good card. I'm going to go lower with the queen.
Lower
please.
than a queen. Oh, no! King is not lower. Deborah gets a free chance with a two.
Higher.
Higher than a two. A queen. For the championship lower. Yes! Deborah pulls it out with two in a row. Wow! What a comeback for the champion. Kathy, thank you so much for joining us. And you have $100 in cash and some nice party gifts. Thanks for being here. Kathy Chicklow. Deborah, come on down. Now, Deb, from our last show to this one, needing 4 cards, did you think you were going to be standing here now?
I got absolutely no sleep last night, but this morning I got a little bit more confident. I thought I could do it.
Well, it all paid off. She came out on top, and she goes for the big money once again with the money cards right after this. Great comeback. Wow. Back with a fine champion, Deborah Newman, who made a great comeback to be here now. Are you ready?
I'm ready to win some big money.
Let's get to the money cards. Come on, Deb. You cut the money cards in front of our audience, I'm sure?
Sure did.
And Lois and Janice will start dealing them out as we give you $200 of new money on the bottom line, these 3 cards. Move up to the second level. We'll give you another $200 of betting money and 3 more cards to bet as you like. Minimum bets, of course, $50. Till you get to the top card, the big bet, there you must risk at least half the money. Good luck, Deborah.
Thank you, Jim.
Here's $200. And, of course, you can change your base card on each of the 3 levels if you need to. Deborah, you'll start off with $200 and an 8.
Change it, please.
I can't say as I blame you. Right up the middle, and you change it to a jack. Well, a better
Pretty
card.
good card. I'll bet $150 lower.
$150 that this card is lower than a jack.
All right.
For a 4.
I'll bet $250. Oh, let's go all of it higher.
Got a little money in your pocket now, Deb. Whole thing, $350. Is she right? Higher than a 4. Yes, with an ace. Wow.
All of it lower.
$700 lower than an ace. Right with a 5 for $1,400. We'll give you the other $200 as we move up to 5. You have $1,600. Do you want that 5?
I'll bet $800 higher.
You're going to play the 5.
Yeah.
And bet $800, half the money. Higher than a 5? Yes, with a 9. Now you're near the middle.
$50 lower.
Oh,
I want to buy a new card.
She wasn't getting too carried away. Taking the minimum bet to try for a better card. $50. Higher, did you say?
Lower.
Lower, I beg your pardon. Lower than the 9? Oh, a jack.
You were right.
$23.50 and a jack.
Boy, there aren't any queens or kings showing. I'll bet $350 lower.
$350 lower than a jack. Yes, with a 10. $2,700 as we move up to 10.
Change it, please.
Big change. You've got some
Come on,
good
give me a
money.
good
For the
card.
big bet, Deborah will play a king.
All of it lower. All of it.
Double or nothing. Trying to double $2,700 lower than a king. Yes! For $5,400. Oh, did that top off a great comeback. Congratulations, Deb. That's wonderful. And you didn't get carried away with a 9, too. Very nicely done. Deb, your winnings now $9,500 in cold cash. We'll meet a new challenger right after this. That was super. That was super. You bet him with guts. This is dealing out 2 brand new decks of cards, and here comes a new challenger on Card Sharks. Joe Kreinicke. Hello, Joe. Welcome. Nice to have you here. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
I'm Joe Kreinicke from Matawan, New Jersey. I earn my living by driving a beer truck, and I just became the proud grandfather of my 5th boy.
Well, our congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Driving a beer truck. Is business going up or down?
Oh, it's very good, very good.
Business is good, huh?
Very good.
Good to have you here, Joe. You've cut your cards?
Yes, sir.
Always in front of the audience, I'm sure, and we are ready to go. Starting the best 2 out of 3 with a question to Deborah. Deborah, we asked 100 single women. Now, everybody knows that money can't buy love, but be honest, does it improve a guy's bargaining power? How many women said money does make a man seem more attractive?
I think that number's going to be really high. I know I thought my husband had a lot of money, and he thought I had a lot of money. We fooled each other. I would say 52.
Deborah says that 52 out of 100 women said, yeah, money makes a man a little more attractive.
Well, it's pretty easy to be happy with a lot of money. I don't say it buys happiness, but 52 is kind of low. I would say it's a little higher.
Even more than that.
Higher.
The actual number of single women who think money makes a man seem more attractive is 74. Very much higher, Joe. Oh, yeah. And the challenger starts with an 8.
Lower.
Lower than an ace.
Higher.
Higher than a 3. A 6.
Oh, boy.
Freeze. We move over the freeze bar, and that protects Joe up to this point, and we can't take those cards away. Joe? Joe, we asked 100 child psychiatrists. Would you allow a 10-year-old patient, to smoke a cigarette in your office? How many child psychiatrists said yes, they would?
Well, child psychologists, I guess they know what they're doing, but I can't
Psychiatrists.
see them. Child psychiatrists. I don't see them allowing a 10-year-old boy to smoke a cigarette. That's kind of young. I would say it's going to be low. I'd say about 21.
21 child psychiatrists would allow a 10-year-old to smoke.
I think they like for them to do their own thing, and I think he'd let him smoke the cigarette, and then, you know, he'd probably get sick and everything, and then he'd probably try to analyze it. So I'm going to say it's a little bit higher.
You figure they try to analyze everything, right, Deb?
They try to analyze everything.
The actual number of child psychiatrists who would allow a 10-year-old patient to smoke in their office is 8. It is not higher. No, it's lower. Joe, we left off with a 6.
Change the card, please.
Whenever you win the question, you have the right to change it. The 6 becomes a jack.
Lower.
Lower than a jack. An 8.
Freeze.
Freezing it with that card up the middle, and the little jump up and down didn't help, Joe, huh? Deborah, we asked 100 women. Is there one woman you dislike just because she's so much prettier than you? How many women admitted there is?
Oh, I think women are so jealous. That's got to be a high number. I know there's a couple that I don't like that kind of have their eye out for my husband, in fact, I think.
Oh, well, that's a different reason, Deb. Yes.
I would say 62.
62 women said, yeah, there's someone they don't like just because she's prettier than they are.
I don't think so. I don't think women are like that. I think women are pretty nice. I think they're pretty sensible. I'd say it's lower.
Lower. A lot of agreement with the audience. Let's find out. The actual number of women who admitted they dislike a woman just because she's prettier than they are is 9. Very much lower. Joe.
Change the card, please.
And now, big change for the challenger. Changing the 8 to a 5.
Higher.
If this is higher than a 5, Joe has the first game of the match for the win. Oh! Not higher. Deborah is still in it with a free chance to play a 3.
All right, great card. Let's go higher.
Higher than a 3. Yes, a jack.
Lower.
Lower than a jack. A 7.
Higher.
After giving everybody a look, she says higher. Is she right? Yes! For the first game of the match, lower than a king. Oh, yeah, Deborah did it. Once again, turning over 4 straight cards. Wow. You gave our audience a look like, how dare you interrupt me when I'm on a roll. So here come the next cards off the top of the same 2 decks. If you can remember what's played, it often helps. Game 1 to the champion. Joe, we asked 100 bachelors. Have you ever met a woman who was so shapely you found it impossible to carry on an eye-to-eye conversation with her? How many bachelors said they have?
Well, usually that's what they do. They look in their eyes. Now, I think that I'd be pretty hard to do. Most bachelors would sort of like to look around. I'd say.
Well, how many find it hard to carry on an eye-to-eye conversation?
I'd say it's going to be low. I'd say it'd be about 18.
18. 18 bachelors said they met a woman. She was so shapely they found it impossible to carry on an eye-to-eye conversation with her.
I think it's hard to carry on an eye-to-eye conversation with anybody. You know, just to look straight at, you know, I find myself gazing at you.
What, Deb?
Without looking around.
He says 8. You know, it is difficult. He says 18, Deb.
That it's hard?
He says 18 bachelors said yes, they've found it difficult to carry on an eye-to-eye conversation with a woman who was so shapely.
I'm going to go with this crowd this time and say a little bit higher.
Higher. The actual number of bachelors who've met a woman who was so shapely they couldn't carry on an eye-to-eye conversation with her is 78. It is much higher. Deborah.
Okay, let's go.
Deborah starts off with a 9.
Change it, please.
9 becomes
All
a
right,
king.
great card. Love those kings. Lower.
Lower than a king. A
All
queen.
right, lower.
Lower than a queen. A jack.
Lower.
Lower than a jack. Oh, no, another queen. Look at all those face cards. And back to the base card as Joe plays an ace.
Lower.
Lower than an ace. A 9.
Lower.
Gonna risk it. It worked for Deborah. Does it work for Joe? Lower.
Yes.
Right.
Higher.
Higher than a 2. A king.
Lower.
To tie up the match. Lower. Yes. And Joe does it with 4 cards. Wow. Oh, my. 2 great runs by the players, and we've got a tie at 1-1. Here we go with a tiebreaker with just 3 questions and 3 cards. Deborah, we asked 100 married women. Do you usually forgive your husband no matter what he's done as long as he admits he's wrong? How many women said they do?
I think most people do. I know I'd forgive my husband even if he doesn't admit, he's wrong. As long as he tells me he's... Well, I guess that is admitting.
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
about it. Yeah, definitely.
I would say 58.
58 women said they'll forgive their husband as long as he admits he's wrong.
I'm sorry, I can't agree with that because when these women, boy, they just aren't. The first that hit him on the head and then he wouldn't forgive him, I'll say it's lower.
Lower.
Yeah,
The
lower.
actual number of married women who forgive their husband as long as he admits he's wrong is 82. It is not lower. Deborah thought that one out well. And Deborah starts the tiebreaker with a 2.
Great cards! Higher!
Higher than a 2. A 5. For the championship. Higher. Yes! Deborah does it and wins it again. Wow. Joe, you came up against a tough champion.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. You've got $100 and some nice party gifts.
Okay,
Thanks for
thank
being
you.
here. Say hello to our friends in Mottawa.
Hi, thank you.
Joe Krenicki. Deborah, come on down here. Deborah keeps up her winning ways, and she once again goes for the big money right after this commercial break. Way to go. We're back with our champion ready once again for the money cards. They've been dealt out in front of our studio audience. And Deborah, you've been here before, and just in case somebody just tuned in, you want to explain to us how the rules for the money cards? You've done this before.
I'll try.
Okay.
You start me out with $200, and I get to change the base card if I want. Then I go
Right.
all the way across. You move that card up, give me $200 more. Minimum bet of $50. I can bet it all. Then you move the card up again to the big bet where I have to bet at least half.
I think I'm out of work. Way to go, Deb. Here's $200. Let's see it pay off once again. With $200, Deborah, you'll start off with a jack.
Good card. I'll bet $150 lower.
$150 lower than a jack. Yes, with a 9.
$50 lower.
$50 lower than a 9. It is with a 5.
$300 higher.
Big bet on a 5. $300 higher than a 5. Yes, with a queen. And as we move up the queen, we'll give you the other $200. As Deborah just told you, she has $900 and a queen.
$700 lower.
$700 lower than a queen. Yes.
$50 lower.
Minimum bet $50 lower than an 8. No, a 10. Held back $15.50 and a 10.
$50 lower. Let's buy a better card for the big bet.
All right, $50. Let's get it much lower than a 10. Come on. Oh, that ain't
great
bad.
card.
As we move up an ace, you have $1,500.
Lower.
Double or nothing. Come on for $3,000 lower than an ace. It is. Oh, boy. Deborah, another $3,000.
Fantastic. I owed all to my husband. He said cut him thin and win. Yesterday I was cutting him deep.
So deep and weep, I think is the
That's
expression,
what he
right?
said.
Thin and win paid off. Deborah Newman with $12,700 in cash.
Fantastic. I love it.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with this fine champion. Right now, we're going to take time out for this commercial break. That was nice. Another $3,000. Our champion, Deborah Newman, continues her winning ways. Deborah, I must say, on those money cards, both the last 2 times, you held off at the right time and bet them when you had them. It's beautifully played.
Yeah, I had good cards today.
Well, also, you can get carried away and say, oh, I've got so much money, I'll bet a lot on an 8. And no, you just kept with the minimum bets, and then when you had the money, you went. You're a good player. Deborah will try to defend her title against a new challenger on the next Card Sharks. Have yourself a good day. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
It's got great buzz.
Change purse.
A high IQ.
Answer, please. Stupid.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And a winning personality.
Interesting, isn't it?
It's Chain Reaction, the challenging new word game from the executive producer of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
That's a chain! The chains keep coming.
Chain Reaction, words in action. Tomorrow night at 9, 8 Central on GSN.
What was that?